Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you guys decide to listen to us. It's always appreciated. This is Tap 87. It's Thyestes Day from Gowran. Dec, this is one of my favorite standalone kind of non-festival cards of the whole year. And I know you're firmly off the bridle. I had to spin you around a few times and blindfold you before you went into the stalls, and you're already getting reminders after your weekend away. But
I've got a few, all right.
Yeah, a few behind the saddle there. I know. How was your weekend, first of all? And Thyestes, that's one of your, I say today, that you quite enjoy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's a great day. Sun was there, the whole of Kilkenny's there. It's a great day to go racing if you can. And there's something special about top class racing midweek, I think. It always feels a bit different.
Especially a standalone card that's not a festival. Like this is just, it's the race that stops at county, I suppose. And if it wasn't for hurling, I'd say Thyestes Day would be the biggest thing in county.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You're right up there.
No, right. It is a great day. It is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, we won't review the weekend's racing deck because I'm not going to, as I said, you're slightly off the bridle. So we can get straight into the racing and, we might go online and give our thoughts on last weekend's racing, because there was a few thoughts I could have gone on about Kintur, Calanesia, and Now Is the Hour, and their mental planning getting £8 and £10 respectively from the handicap, but that might be one for another day, Dec. We'll get straight into it. The 103 from Gowran Park, the Conley's Red Mills Irish EBF Auction Maiden Stakes. This is a very trappy maiden, in my opinion anyway, Dec. It looks like, I was looking at it going, it's probably not the strongest looking maiden in the world, but then you look over it again. Belle the Tigress probably sets the standard on form, but then you have Kishbank, who was a point and bumper winner but didn't show up on Hurdle's debut. Probably something to miss since he's been off the track the best part of 3 months. And then Journey So Far, who was travelling well when falling in a point-to-point under Derek O'Connor, was behind Mossy Fen Park, but probably showed a decent level of form, making his rules debut here. I probably had it between those three, Dec. Who do you like though here?
Yeah, I like Belle the Tigress. They toured the last day at Nace. She actually reversed the form with Qualamite to finish ahead of her at Nace, and it's probably the strongest bit of form we have to go on. I did give a shout to stretch him out the last day, but look, she was finished fourth, but it was nearly 50 lengths I think she was beaten. So it would be Belle the Tigress for me. She probably won't be much of a price though.
Yeah, I'd expect her to be favourite. I would agree with you as well. Now, with the form that Gavin Cromwell is in and Journey So Far,
they're flying.
Yeah, they're flying. They're absolutely flying. I would be wondering though if given Gavin gets more good ones than he originally did, 5-6 years ago. I wonder if this horse would have been starting off in bumpers if he was really good. But the betting will probably tell us. I would agree with you on Belle the Tigress. Do I want to go nap at the tap straight out of the gates, race one? Probably not. I wouldn't be, rushing to have a bet in this particular maiden hurdle. But she does set a decent standard, gets some allowances here as well. And she probably does take the beating in the opener, the 103 from Gowran Park. Moving on, Dec, Jenny Mac, we're out of the gates here like Soul Power. As we're on to the second race, the 138 is the Langton's Kilkenny Handicap Hurdle. In my opinion, possibly the most competitive 0-100 handicap hurdle you're going to find all year. Kilbarry Saint ended up placed in a grade 2 and couldn't even win this last year. So that's usually what the type of horse that probably takes to win it. Now that could well have been an outlier, but usually decent horses for the grade, I should probably say, tend to win this race. It is one that is targeted, and I would imagine Gavin Cromwell with a spur of the moment, coming from Eugene O'Sullivan's point winner last time out and in off 95 after being handicapped before that over hurdles. The last horse Eugene O'Sullivan sent to a big trainer, was that the Paddy Power winner, was it? Sorry?
What's the horse that can't jump fences that Emmett Mullins tried?
Orbit's Cross, yeah. I think there was another one, was there? There was possibly another one. Anyway, I'll have a think about it. I think that's the one that Paddy Power.
One of Willie's was a Meeting of the Waters as well.
Meeting of the Waters is exactly, yeah. You're on form despite being off the bridle. Fair play there. Nothing gets by you. Who do you like for this 0-100 anyway?
Look, I had a good look at sport at the moment, and look, he was no show on his handicap debut, but he's got back and won a point to point since. It's his first start for Gavin Cromwell, so I don't really know what to expect, whether he'll take a run. I think he might take a run. Falcon Park is coming in here. The form of his life. He's won 3 out of his last 6, including his last 2 runs, which were over hurdles. This is a career high mark for him, though, and it might just be out of touch for him. The one I go with is A-Class. He was third in his handicap debut. I think he's going to come on. The form of his third maiden run is not bad. He was behind Sky Lord and the horse of Willie's that one at Punchestown last week. Was it last week? When Don't Stop the Music came down.
Yes, it's I know the horse you're talking about. Bear with me.
Funny name.
Possibly a fortunate winner. A Kappa Jai Pike or something. Kappa J. A weird ass French name. Yeah.
Anyway. But I'll take A-Class here, and I hope he's going to find some improvement for the second run on the handicap.
Okay, very good. I'm going to take a chance on one of Philip Rothwell's 3 entrants. He's attacking this race like Aidan O'Brien would attack a Derby trial at the start of the Derby trial at the start of the season. Prince Quattro did win today, so I'd say his participation might be in doubt. It'll only be a 2-day turnover. He does have a few more in there. Down the bottom, he's Crammers Valley, first time blinkers as well. An interesting enough runner, but I'm going to take the bottom one under Tiernan Power Roach. Ernos Naguia bailing me out there, Dec. You knew what was coming. Off 79, very, very low weight. Ran well the last day at Punchestown. Just got tired quite late on. I'm hoping that wasn't the fault of the ground. I think that I'm kind of hoping maybe she gets a patient ride and is allowed to come home quite late. That's the way I kind of see this. Like, there should be a pace to aim at. I think she might have a fair enough each way chance, but as I said, a very, very competitive, not to 100. It's usually one of the most competitive of the season.
Did Z-Band go very, very close in this race
last year? Last year, yeah. Kilbarry Saint Z-Band was third. Kilbarry Saint was second.
And I just want to give a shout out to Paul who owns Z-Band, because he hasn't been well.
Really? Oh, Jenny Mac. Yeah.
I only seen the message today. Jesus, I don't feel very well myself, but Paul was genuinely not well. So
okay.
Obviously, we hope you feel better soon, Paul.
Absolutely. Send our best to Paul, 100%. Z-Band was third in this race. It was Champagne Marler that won the race last year, beating Kilbarry Saint and Z-Band. Like, really competitive. For context, Kilbarry Saint ended up rated 113, so not as high as you might have thought. Kilbarry Saint, 126 chaser, 122 hurdler. And then Z-Band, who was third, a 136 hurdler. And these all filling the first 3 places of a not to 100 handicap. So it tends to be a race you can follow at this level.
It might have been a not to 102, was it last year?
It could have, it would have been, it would, like, because I don't think they go up in 5s anymore, but the not to 102 or others, they've kind of boxed it off now, haven't they? So
so they've changed it now. It was an 80 to 102, so. You
can run on 70 odd now, can't you? And
you can run, well, you always could. You could run off the 79. You could, you'd have to run off the 80, but So they've just combined the brackets.
That makes sense, I suppose. Right. So moving on, Dec. The 213 is the John Mulhern Galmoy hurdle, grade 2 over 3 miles. I was saying to you off air, this might be the most competitive Galmoy hurdle I can remember in quite some time. I think this is a really strong renewal, and everyone is, a lot of people are saying Tehupa is one of the strongest kind of anti-post favourites, and it's usually because the 3 mile hurdling division is not really competitive, because when you breed a horse, like, you're not looking at it in a field going, Jesus, that's a future Stayers hurdle winner. Like, there's not one breeder in the world that says that. It's usually an afterthought. With your, all respect to them, your Beacon Edges, Hidden Valley Lakes, Asterion for Longish, they're usually horses that hate fences. Hidden Valley Lake does set a good standard, Dec, but we do have a few kind of I don't know, it's a new kid on the block is the right term, but like Buddy won, obviously, kind of a failed chase experiment, but a more than capable hurdler at this level. Franciscan Rock has won his last two, is in the form of his life, ran brilliant in the Coral Cup last year. Pretends qualifier winner and a conditions hurdle winner. Comes here with a maximum amount of respect. Speaking of maximum, we have Maxim finally starting over 3 miles. Last seen at this trip was a win at the Dublin Racing Festival. I still have all the faith in the world in him over this trip. And then I suppose the new kid on the block, Rocky's Diamond, who we put up on our Christmas podcast, was third in the Christmas hurdle at Leopardstown over this trip at a price of 66 to 1. In my opinion, he excelled himself. And being only 5 years of age, has every chance of progressing as well in the future. Really, really competitive Dec. I think really looking forward to this race, I must say. But who do you like?
Well, it is quite competitive for Neil, but as often as you find with these staying hurdlers, like they're often quite exposed, apart from two in the race. And one of them should be very exposed, but he seems to have, since he's learned to stay 3 miles, he's become quite exciting, I think, and that's Franciscan Rock. But look, I'm going to be with Rocky's Diamond because he is the
completely
most
unexposed
of the ball. 5 starts, won twice, 5-year-old, third in the grade 1 at Christmas. This thing, he could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. Hidden Valley Lake was second or Ascot. He did win a buoyant hurdle almost a year ago, and he has to carry a grade 2 penalty for winning that. A Stadium for Long. Funny enough, it's his first time to ever run in this race, and it's probably going to really suit him.
You probably think he's ran in the last 4, but I was looking at it going, "Jeez, how did he do in that last year?" I actually did. I was going through this form, I was like, "Well, how did he do in this last year?" And I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, it should of all the 3 mile hurdle races, this one should suit him the most. I'd say. He has run well at Punchestown. Like, he jumps to the right, and look, he's another one who's going to, he could give it a good go. But he won. He hasn't got loads to find with a Stadium for Launch. It's probably only about a head or a neck in it. But look, it's very hard not to be with Rocky's Diamond, having finished third in the grade 1. He's exciting. And I hope for racing he absolutely bolts up.
I think Declan Quaid deserves a lot of credit. I know I didn't say get into trouble, but he had it off over in the summer once or twice, didn't he? Like backing horses from all sorts of prizes to win. And maybe, look, it's not his fault that if this horse, he wins a maiden hurdle, doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't quite run well behind Antrim Coast at Wexford. Horse comes back from a break, wins a 3 mile handicap hurdle over this course and distance off 123. Now, off 130, and on the same day at Leopardstown, there was a pretense qualifier. Now, he could have gone in that off 130, and it's hard to say he wouldn't have won, given that he was third in a grade 1 on the same card and is now rated 145. But
sure,
obviously, he'd have probably won doing handstands, and he's probably Pretem's favourite if that's the case. But they've obviously rolled the dice. Fair play to them. He's definitely a nice horse. And when he came off the bridle at Leopardstown, he was still a little bit green. It took him a minute to get organised, and he hit the line really strong. And I don't think it was the horse not being quick enough. I just think it was the horse. It was just inexperience. After 5 runs to finish 5th in an open grade 1, not a novice grade 1, an open grade 1.
Against proper hardened seasoned staying hurdlers. Homer Lee, Bob Ollinger, Beacon Edge was in there. Like horses who've been there and done that for many years now.
Absolutely.
So he's very exciting.
I think I'm going to stick with him myself. I do quite like him. Franciscan Rock, you said everything you said about him is completely true as well. The fact that they went for that race at Clonmel when he beat Sandor Clegane and 3-card Bragg and Plains Indian, that makes me think that the Pretemps is not on their radar, because that got him an extra £5, which he could have probably done without. So I'd say he's stayers hurdle bound, win, lose or draw. And then Maxim, who I've said to you multiple times that I think this horse will go well in a Stayers hurdle, and
Yeah.
I still think they're working back from that. I don't think we're going to see the best Maxim on Thursday, but I think he's going to give this a good go. The ground might be a little bit on the soft side for him. He can go on soft to heavy. He nearly won a Ferry House on that ground, but that was a sprint that he basically controlled the race from the front. Brewing Up a Storm won that race. He fell. Or Brewing Up a Storm won the race. Maxim fell, I think, at the second last. But all his best form is on either soft ground or yielding ground. And Gowran soft, as you know, at this time of year, it's a little bit, it's quite, well, it's not a little bit, it's usually quite taxing.
It's testing.
It's testing, yeah. So I think that might catch out Maxim late on, but I think he'll give it a good go. And again, win, lose, or draw, he's a horse that you could back at a big price in a Stayers hurdle, and he'll give you a good run.
It's funny because was it 2 or 3 years ago he was anti-post favourite at one stage?
Yeah, it's mad. He was beating Countdana as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Not long after beating Countdana,
exactly.
He was anti-post favourite.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Rocky's Diamond as well, Dec. And you know what? Because I do like Franciscan Rock and Maxim, I might do a little all combos tri-cast, because that might pay well if the, Buddy One and Hidden Valley Lake and Staring for Lounge are all out of the frame. I'd say that actually might pay quite decent. Might be one if anyone's on track to do for €1 or so. That's the Galmoy hurdle then, Dec. So on to the main event. You could have argued the Galmoy hurdle was nearly the main event with the quality of the field, but the real main event, the 3-mile handicap chase at 2:48, is the Thyestes. A fantastic race, one of my favourite handicap chases of the whole season. Again, on our handicaps show at Christmas, Dec, we spoke about a lot of these horses, mainly Willies, having their first run, and with the aim to coming here. The likes of McDermott, who was actually having a second run, but Spanish Harlem, who was having his first run as well. So they're all obviously rocking up here. We've a full field of 18. Will Do, the one you tipped in the Paddy Power, was backed from all sorts of prices into, I think he was nearly favourite. He's 10-1, just gets in here down the bottom. Would you be sticking with him, Dec, or are you looking elsewhere?
I don't think he got home over 3 miles at Leopardstown, because he travelled into it like the winner. So I would be against him. And the same with Glengooly, and I know we had mentioned before, but he didn't
get the top last year.
Sorry?
Nap at the top last year on this.
But he didn't stay. He was outstayed by Ain't That a Shame. He's a 9-year-old. Like he's off a pound higher here last year. But Sean Cleary Farrell does take off 7. But he Paul Townend on him last year. I would say Paul Wood more than 7 pound. So look, he's done nothing to show me he will stay since. He's actually done very, very little since he's been pulled up.
Ran fine in the Limerick race, the Tim Duggan. Behind Dance Jeremy. He was only out for a run, but he ran and kind of ran in snatches, kind of came home as if he needed the run. I'm going to keep the faith with him. I think that ever since they were second, they've been working back from it, as one of my favourite sayings. I think they've been working back from this. I don't know much about Sean Cleary Farrell. I know he rode Nick Rocket in the Paddy Power, gave him a decent ride. And now he obviously switches to Glengooly. I'm going to stick with him, but sorry, I ut over you there, Dec. Who's your fancy here?
Yeah, well, see, I can't stick with him because I just don't think he's going to stay. So I'm with Shannon Royale. Shannon Royale was beaten 12 lengths of 140 in a handicap hurdle. The same mark he's in here off. He just looks a much better chaser though, and it is more his game. He was second to Danton City. He beat in High Class Hero New Year's Eve. He's only a 7-year-old. I think he could be a good thing here.
Good thing for Dec. He's 7-1. He's not a bad price, and the race does favour novices. So you would like that strain of form. Obviously, I'm going off track a little bit, but what are your opinions then on High Class Hero? Do you think he could be one for graded chases then? If because if Shannon Royale's winning this off 140, like you would want to think High Class Hero on his chase debut beating him. That might have been a mighty enough effort. Yeah,
look, I think High Class Hero's a really nice horse, but he's a horse we don't get to see an awful lot of. I
Ground
think
dependent, probably.
Yeah, as a novice hurdler, he won early on in the season. He might have
racked up a few. Yeah.
And then we just didn't see him. But his victories were absolutely bloodless when he was winning.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if he ran at Shetland, but he has a big engine, I'd say, Andy.
Big engine there to get the klaxon. He did run. He was pulled up in the Bartlett, but it was very testing ground, and all his form was on decent ground. So it was decent ground, obviously, when he beat Shannon Royale. So I'd say he's very ground dependent.
Yeah, it does look that way. Like, I think he might have been winning on Cork on bottomless ground, when he was a novice hurdler. So I do like him, but I just think Shannon Royale is probably going to be ahead of the handicapper if he achieved that mark of 140 over hurdles, and that was probably better than he was as a hurdler. But he's a much better chaser, and he's looked a much better animal this year. So I'd say he could go off 4-1 favourite.
Right, that's an interesting one. And you are right, actually. High Class Hero did have form on heavy last year, so I completely take that back. Apologies. I don't know what it is with him. He just didn't run well in the Bartlett, I suppose. Right. So Dec thinks Shannon Royale is going off 4-1. So if you're listening early enough to get the sevens, take it. I'm going to stick with Glengooly. Might be ridden to get the trip. Hopefully Sean Cleary Farrell's 7 is like gold dust. Kind of wondering, actually, with the amount of winners that he had, and again, going off topic a tiny bit, but Tiernan Power Roach, I do it every week. Tiernan Power Roach, I'm surprised that no one's kind of, asked him to, or gave him a ride here, because that's £7 is, he rode another winner again today.
He's flying.
He's absolutely flying. He's absolutely flying. But that's £7 is, really, really powerful at the minute. And I'm a little bit surprised he doesn't have a ride in this, to be honest with you. I'm going to go Glengooly. Grandero Bello, obviously an old friend of mine as well. I'm a bit surprised they ran him at Newbury actually on that ground. He could definitely improve again for a return to testing conditions, because the horse definitely needs that. Could be one for place purposes at around 12 or 14 to 1. Nick Rocket under Paul Townend, I still think he's getting trained for the Grand National. I was hoping he might rock up in the Bobby Joe. I suppose he still could, but he'd be one to keep an eye on. Even if he wasn't to win this, if he was to run close, I'd still think he'd be he'd be most interesting for Aintree. But it is Glengooly for me, and Dec, I think Shannon Royale is already past the post. So on to the 323, a beginner's chase. This was a race I thought we might have seen Slade Steele in, which hasn't happened. I actually think
he's going back hurdling.
He's going back hurdling, is he? Because I saw he didn't get any chase entries at the Cheltenham Festival, so I didn't actually see that they're going back hurdling. That's a pity. I don't think he actually did a whole lot wrong, to be honest.
Could have ran in the Galmoy.
Could have ran him in the Galmoy, absolutely. And I don't think he's in the Cleve hurdle, so I don't know. That's a strange one. That's a very strange one. I don't think the horse did a whole lot wrong in 2 chase starts. Like, he bumped into Better Days Ahead and Lecky Watson. Like, I don't think there's much kind of, and he's probably a better horse on soft ground. I don't think he's actually lost a lot there. But anyway, 14 runners for this beginner's chase. I have an anti-post ticket somewhere on Quay de Bourbon for the Broadway. So I'm going to hold my faith that he can win this, but he does have to reverse the form, I believe, of Chapeau de Sly, who is the rider Sean O'Keefe, Blizzard of Oz, O'Castle de Mott in here as well for the double green team. I suppose competitive enough beginner's chase, Dec. What are your thoughts?
I can't see Willie not winning it. I'd give a chance to 4 of his. Blizzard of Oz, he's 7-year-old. He was third in his chasing debut. He was only 11 3/4 of Lecky Watson. He's come out and won again. That's good form. Jabba de Salai, another 7-year-old. He was the next second to the Capo in the race at Leopardstown. Quay de Bourbon was behind. I do expect Quay de Bourbon to come on. He's a younger horse as well. I can see him reversing the form. But it's O'Castle de Mott I like. He's another 6-year-old. Look, he was 13 lengths off Ballybourne. He could probably be crabbing at that form a little bit now. Like if you wanted to take him on, but the Capo was behind him that day. So I'd be putting him ahead of Quay de Bourbon and Chapeau de Soleil. It's probably between the 2 double green horses, to be honest.
All right, okay.
But I'll take Oldcastle them on.
Okay, Oldcastle them all. But I said the only thing I would say about that Ballyburn race, Decappa was, I think, the only horse in the field that tried to go at Ballyburn and was rendered unconscious by the last fence. So, but look, he still beat him. Hasn't been seen the best part of 2 months, but maybe they were waiting for softer ground or something, which, given his French form, isn't beyond the realms of possibility. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Dec. I'm probably looking at this with rose tinted glasses. I had so much faith in Queen of Bourbon, and to be brutally honest with you, I was bitterly disappointed by him on the 28. I was really, really disappointed. There wasn't many excuses other than it's his Chase debut. You can always forgive
Put me out of the play spot as well.
That's where it's rubbing from. Is bitterly disappointing, very disappointing. I was
had it spent.
You had your tenner spent, did you, or whatever probably paid. Well, Queen of Bourbon actually he was long odds on, so probably knocked a few people out of place to think about on the day. I do retain the faith in him. I'm not gonna crab the horse for one run. Maybe he does prefer softer ground. That was the quickest ground he ever encountered when he was behind the Capo at Leopardstown. So maybe the softer ground at Gowran might.
Did he run out air? Surely it was fast at air.
Let me check. No, well, it was rendered soft. It was called soft ground. Now he's 8 to 11 favourite. I'd say it could have been a road, and he would have won in the same style of air. Like he was beating trees, wasn't he? It was fairly
Shabby was behind them, was he?
At air.
Yeah, has he?
I think they really didn't need to send him, did he? Maybe he did.
No, Joe was behind him 302.
302. Good old 203. Yeah, or was it 2-3? Which one was the? Yeah, 2-3. Was it 203? Yeah, we lost him, didn't we? Yeah, got him. So look, Queen of Bourbon, you could maybe put it down to the ground. We'll see. For me, he needs to win this, and he needs to win this if he's to be the horse I thought he could be. I'd always forgive a horse one run under any circumstances, especially if it's their first time encountering something, i.e. fences and quicker ground.
And the fact that it wasn't the only one of Willie's who's supposed to run an absolute stinker over Christmas.
Yeah, I suppose he wasn't the only one that soiled himself. You're right, to be honest with you. There was quite a few over Christmas time. So yeah, I'm going to keep the faith in Queen of Bourbon. He's likely going to be favoured, as you said. He would take a brave man to back him at his likely odds. If I got a fair price, I might, but I don't know what a fair price kind of is. I'd have to kind of see the price that he opens up at. Right, the 358 Dec. There was one horse that I was looking at this and I was getting giddy.
Me too. It's a good thing in here.
But then I found out he was a decent way out of the handicap, which was a little bit upsetting. So you can see where I'm probably going with this. Anyway, Dec, it's 3 miles. I'll let you go first. The Adair Manor Opportunity Handicap Hurdle at 358. Who do you like?
No, the one I like is Dancing on the Ceiling.
Dancing on the Ceiling. That's what you were doing on holiday last weekend, was it?
Yeah.
Having the time you're.
That's it. Look, he won a maiden on his first attempt.
Right.
He was toured. That was back in April. He was toured in his handicap debut in December. And that was his first run since April. I reckon he just took a blow, and he just needed the run. He's gone up £1. The horse who won the race, Deal for Jane said, is gone up £10. He's not beaten. Dancing on the Ceiling again. The runner-up has won a maiden as well since this story so far, I think. Charles Bourne's horse. I'm very, very strong on this. I know Jericho the Bone is in here.
I was just about to say that was my next question. First time cheek pieces for Jericho.
Yeah, look, he was sixth in that race. He was sixth in that race that Deal for Jane said won. He was dropped £1, but I just think for the horse who's won a maiden, he's probably still very unexposed.
Okay. And
he's definitely reversing the form with the winner that day. I assume you were talking about Muscardy Rock, were you?
I was, yeah.
Just his only handicap run was in a chase
It wasn't even really. It was one of those kind of. It was a rated handicap. It was kind of a rated chase as well. No, was it? Well, it was a novice. Yeah, I suppose it was a novice handicap chase. Yeah, it actually was. Yeah, I thought it was like one of those kind of rated chases, but no, it was a novice handicap chase.
Limerick. Look, it's all about Limerick form.
It's all about Limerick. It kind of half worked out for us. I suppose you had the McKiernan horse that won last week, so I'm going to stick with Limerick. Limerick form. Look, the reason I fancy this horse,
my race is at Limerick as well.
That's it. Good old Limerick. We should do a Limerick pod that's not Christmas, actually. It's been a while since we've done one. I'm sure it'll pop up. I'm sure an opportunity will arise. Anyway, Muskerry Rock. This horse is probably a lazy SOB, to be honest with you. Like, he just never really travelled at Limerick, and that's the reason I wasn't getting too excited. He just went, like, he jumped the first. I was talking to Tommy as well. He jumped the first at Limerick at the same speed he jumped the last. Like, he is just so slow.
He's 8 pounds out of handicap.
He's 8 pounds out, and that's why I had to temper my kind of expectations. He is rated 86 over hurdles. If he was able to finish third at Limerick, now granted he was beaten 17 lengths, but it was his handicap debut, and little parts of his form, like if you look at his chase debut at Thurles, where he was third to Individual East and Crossing the Bar was second, who although hasn't won, has ran adamantly in handicaps off the mid 100 since. That was a good chasing debut, and he's ran 4 races over hurdles. Ended up with a mark of 86. He's not 8, as you said, 8 pounds wrong, 9 pounds wrong.
8 pounds.
8 pounds wrong. Yeah. I still think 94 over hurdles he'd have a chance. I'm just disappointed he's 8 pounds wrong. I there's probably other races for him. He's probably one for the next day if they keep him over hurdles. A 3 mile handicap hurdle, I don't know, somewhere around Clonmel or something, or somewhere along those lines. There'll be a Thursday at Clonmel where this horse just rocks up and wins. I guarantee you that. And we'll be on, and he'd be out there off 86. Do I want to take a chance on him? I kind of do, even though he's 8 pounds wrong. Probably not the most advised bet you'd probably see in the world. But he will be bar. But he showed enough at Limerick to suggest he can win a hurdles race. In my opinion, in the mid 90s, because he's so inexperienced. Now in the mid 80s, we can start rubbing our hands together. I'm hoping that he runs okay, maybe runs mid-div. Being out of the handicap is too much for him. But if there's a 3 mile handicap hurdle, or even maybe a 2 mile 6 handicap hurdle on bottomless ground around somewhere like Clonmel, I'd say you could get excited about this thing. That's what I'm going to be looking for. And we do get the odd Clonmel Thursday, so maybe on this next start.
Surely there has to have been a race somewhere for him in not to 100. Where King Kong could have claimed.
Yeah, there probably is. But maybe they're just getting another run into him. I don't know. And they were obviously chasing with him to get that chase mark. They have their hurdle mark, they have their chase mark, but I think 86 underestimates him based on his chase form. Like, he can't be that much better a chaser already, surely. So look, he's as slow as soil creep, but I hoping that a low grade 3 mile handicap hurdle will show him winning. Will show him in winning form soon enough. So Dec, you're sticking with the Cromwell horse, yeah?
I'm with the Cromwell horse, dancing on the ceiling.
Dancing on the ceiling, that's a great name for a horse, isn't it?
Right, I'm strong. I'm keen on him. I'm strong keen.
Right, well, yeah, I'd say listeners side with Dec and maybe Muskerry Rock for the next day because he's 8 pounds wrong. Right, 6 runners for the concluding bumper. We usually have a horse that rocks up in the champion bumper that wins this. It's been won by some very good horses in the past. I think it was won 2 years ago. Well, actually, I remember D'Art won this 2 years ago, ran the champion bumper. Who won it last year?
Mercury ran in it a few years
Mercury, hype machine, yeah. You usually get a decent horse, but there's one horse I'm actually quite keen on in this deck, even though there's unless you have an opinion on this before. I doubt you do. 6 unraced 4-year-olds or do you?
Reckless is by Dr. Dino, and the Dr. Dino's at 38% that Gowran.
There we go. And he'd be also well named when they inevitably run him over 2.5 miles at some stage of his career.
Do you like the Queely horse?
I very much like the Queely horse. Yeah, Carrickmurna Beach. I'm basing this off pedigree alone, really. She's by Blue Brazil. Obviously an exceptional national hunt stallion, stands down in Ratbarry. Obviously the sire Constitution Hill and many other top quality horses. I'm not going to get into who he is the dad of, and I don't think anybody really cares. However, the dam Carrickmurna Holly, she's already produced 2 mares. Carrickmurna Spruce and Carrickmurna Queen. Willie Mullins trained Carrickmurna Queen, who was second in a bumper on her first start, but she did win a bumper at Galway. She won a maiden hurdle. Was well behind Magical Zoe on her graded debut at Down Royal at the start of the season. Then Carrickmurna Spruce, also trained by Declan Queely, second in a bumper on her debut. Then won.
Did she not win? She won on debut at Naas, didn't she? And then
that was her second run. She was on debut at Listowel second, and then won at Naas, and then won another bumper. And she looked decent, in fairness, on the 29th. She won the winner's bumper at Leopardstown on the 29th.
She won in the exact same style as the way it's like it took a minute for the penny to drop, but once it did, she took off.
Yeah, and as we said, we were talking about Declan Queely already in the Galmoy hurdle. The man can train a horse, and I would have a feeling now this filly, she's not going to go unnoticed in the market, I'll tell you that for free. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up near favourite, based on her 2 siblings and how competent that they were in bumpers, one by Walk in the Park, the other by Diamond Boy, this one by Blue Brazil, who's, in my opinion, a better sire than both of them. And he can obviously get 4-year-olds as well, Blue Brazil. So I'm going to take a chance. I know 6 unraced 4-year-olds. Look, if this was William Patrick, this thing would probably be a shade of odds on. Obviously, you are taking a little bit into account, anything can happen with unraced horses. I would imagine Reckless is going to set the market. You see a Jigginstown 4-year-old by Dr. Dino, trained by Gordon Elliott. That's probably going to be the one that leads the market. I wouldn't say long odds on. I'd say Carrickmurna Beach will keep it honest now. I say she'll go off second favourite, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be in any way surprised if money came for her. I'm going to take a chance on her in the finale. Right, so that brings us to an end, Dec, of Tap 87 in just under 40 minutes. Probably not quite. We probably were too keen at the start, I think. Unfortunately, we died a death. Nap of the Tap. Do we have one? We go back to the Galmoy hurdle, do we?
Oh, I suppose so. We did like the one in the first as well.
We did. Yeah, we did. We absolutely did. Maybe as much as you, but I think it's Rocky's Diamond in the 213. The Galmoy hurdle is the Nap of the Tap. If anybody is feeling lucky, why not do a double with Belle the Tigress in the opener? And
I really like the 2 I like in the handicap. So Shannon Royale and Dancing on the Ceiling. Shannon Royale, lovely. I really like the 2 of them.
Yeah, and I'd be lying if I said I really like the bumper filly. I just like what's on the page. I don't know her ability though. Anyway, keep liking, sharing, and subscribing, guys. We very much appreciate it. We hopefully will be back before the Dublin Racing Festival.
We'll be back. There's Fairy House and Naas on the weekend.
Tap 88. That's a pity. Tap 89, the Dublin Racing Festival. It's a bit of a depressing number, but
we might get to squeeze one more in, because
we could try and squeeze one more in. Tap 90 be nice for the Dublin Racing Festival.
We do have a special guest we need to get on.
That's true. Yeah, it's all in the works. So keep on the page, guys, and keep commenting and give us your thoughts. We always do appreciate it. But until the next time, guys, bye-bye.
Cheers.